Greetings from the black holes of Dakota Territory, United States of audacity and absurdity. Stan Jabalisco here with a little more commentary on electromagnetic pulses and vehicle electronics. I read the comments in several of the videos. Yes, some of them do allow comments. I occasionally do, but only when I'm asking you a question, for reasons outlined previously. But getting back to the topic at hand, we need to take this whole business in context. Now, if it's a nearby lightning strike, such as a superbolt, or some other occasional localized preventable event, or maybe not preventable, lightning, for example, that causes an electromagnetic pulse that does, by some chance, happen to disrupt and destroy your vehicle electronics, that's one thing. It can be fixed. There are places that you can go that will have parts that you can fix it with. Of course, you can't use your car to do that, but that's all contingent on this whole business actually being valid, which has not been guaranteed by experiment yet. A lot of these videos will make blanket statements, sensational statements, with absolutely no backup whatsoever. They just make the statements. Like, if there is a nuclear burst at a high altitude, it'll create an electromagnetic pulse in your vehicle and everything else will be toast. Well, we don't know that. And we don't know anyone who would do that to us, or could at this time anyway. But more importantly, suppose there were a major cosmic event, a solar coronal mass ejection, a gamma ray burst, or some other event which would cause an electromagnetic pulse over a wide area. There's a lot better evidence that it could disrupt a lot of things, particularly the power grid, for extended periods of time, and not just because of sensitive electronics, but actual damage, which may take quite some time to repair. But we don't, again, know that, and I don't think anybody wants to conduct an experiment to find out how true that actually is. But if, in fact, there were such an electromagnetic pulse, and your vehicle were taken out along with all that other stuff, what difference would it make? You couldn't go anywhere, but there'd be nowhere to go. Every place would be without power, would be non-functional. The internet wouldn't work. And without the internet, you can't even do your banking. So some places can't even send a letter anymore. So if that were to occur, that kind of event that caused such widespread disruption, what difference would it make whether you had a car or not? There would be nowhere for you to go. It's sort of like when we have one of those 4 or 5 foot storms here, snowstorms here in the black holes, which then of course become the White Mountains of Dakota Territory. Yeah, it's a big inconvenience to shovel yourself out, but there's certainly no rush. Yeah, well, I don't shovel anymore because I'm too much of a wuss. I have my neighbor take his bobcat and remove the snow that way. But even if they got my driveway clear, I can't go anywhere till they plow the street. And if they don't plow the very minor little street that I live on, but every place else is closed because there's no power, what difference does it make whether or not I can get out? There's nowhere to go. except maybe way out, which I did one time. I went to Cody, Wyoming, and spent a week there because I was just sick of the scene after Storm Atlas on the 4th and 5th of October, I believe it was 2013. It caused major disruptions. Fortunately, I had some electrical power because of the generator that I have. But when the telephone and the internet finally went out and I had no communication, you couldn't even call the sheriff. You couldn't even dial 911. When things got that bad, as soon as I could get out of here, I got out of here and spent a week, as I said, somewhere else. But if it were a hemispheric event, there'd be no point that you couldn't pump gas anyway. There'd be nowhere to go. So what difference would it make? And a lot of these comments pointed that out in some of these videos. Oh, your vehicle electronics will get fried, or this or that, which, again, we don't know because we haven't done enough experiments, in my opinion. So, the long and the short, the good, the ugly, and the atrocious. That's another one. United States of Atrocities. That's about enough of this. I think you get my point. Stan Gibilisco, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV, Whiskey 1 Good Vibrations, in case you're a radio ham, saying 73 for now, which means best regards in ham radio jargon, and so long, which means in my favorite mode of ham radio operation, di-di-di-da-di-da.